let's talk about someone I think you might know. A character who just shows up completely uninvited, always at the worst possible moments, and drives you absolutely mad. We're going to call her Itchy. And trust me, by the end of this, you're going to understand exactly what makes her tick.
You know the feeling, right? It starts so small, it's just this quiet little thought that pretty quickly turns into a full-on internal scream. You're just out, trying to live your life, and then, boom, she arrives.
Okay, so picture this. You're in Covent Garden. You're all dressed up. You're actually feeling good, feeling human for what feels like the first time in ages. You're just waiting for a friend, about to see a show. Everything is totally, completely normal. And that, of course, is when Itchy decides to make her grand entrance.
It always starts small, doesn't it? So innocent. Just a little wiggle of the fingers. But then it grows. Soon, it's a full-on palm scratch, like you're trying to start a fire with your bare hands. You're trying so hard to play it cool. But oh man, that urgency is just building and building.
And here's Itchy's signature move. She's a traveler. She never stays in one place. Just when you think you've got it handled, nope, she's on the move, straight to your ears. And now, all of a sudden, you're tugging and pulling at them, probably looking like a stressed-out chimp who's just desperate for some relief.
And then, oh, the moment of absolute soul-crushing dread. Itchy travels down, way down, to just outside your crotch, while you are in public. Your brain is just screaming, no, 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 no. You're trying to be all discreet about it, angling your body, doing that weird little leg shift thing to hide the scratch, but it is absolutely no use.
But here's the cruelest part of the whole thing. It is so hard to stop because, well, it feels incredible. I mean, the source material puts it perfectly. It's this release, this relief that is so intense, your soul just momentarily checks out of your body. And this is all happening while you're standing on a busy public street. Okay, and just when you think it can't get any more absurd, it does. You look up, and there's a man sitting nearby, and he is scratching the exact same spot. You lock eyes. He gives you this little grin. You're both completely horrified, but you also can't stop. It's this silent, itchy Mexican standoff. A moment of just pure, unadulterated menopause madness.
So, after a scene like that, there's really only one question, isn't there? What on earth is actually happening here? Okay, let's pivot from the horror story to the science.
Yeah, let's get right to it. Why the hell does this happen? What is the actual biological reason for this maddening, totally uncontrollable betrayal by your own body?
Well, the short answer, and you probably saw this coming, is hormones. Obviously. It always comes back to hormones, right? But the really fascinating part is how these hormones manage to create this very specific kind of chaos.
All right, let's get a little bit nerdy for a second. We're going to talk about the science of your skin and more specifically, what happens when a major player, estrogen, decides it's time to, well, leave the building. So here's the deal. Think of estrogen as your skin's best friend. Seriously, it's the hormone that's responsible for keeping everything plump, hydrated, and elastic. It keeps your skin calm and happy. It's basically the peacekeeper for your entire outer layer.
So here's the chain reaction, step by step. 1. Estrogen levels drop. 2. Because of that, your skin gets thinner and drier. 3. This makes the nerve endings in your skin get super twitchy and hypersensitive. And finally, 4. Those twitchy little nerves start firing off these urgent itch now signals for what feels like no reason at all. It's a total perfect storm.
And this analogy just nails it. Your skin used to be like a soft, smooth, forgiving silk blouse. But during menopause, it becomes more like a pair of cheap, staticky tights that you just pulled out of the plastic packet. You know the kind. Dry, super irritable, and it catches on absolutely everything. It's a fantastic analogy, even if it is a little bit unnerving.
And because your skin is now in this hypersensitive, cheap, tight state, all these things that never used to bother you suddenly feel like a personal attack. Things like heat, a nice glass of wine, the fabric of your favorite sweater. Heck, sometimes just the stress of existing is enough to set off those hair trigger itch signals.
Okay, so that explains why the itch starts. But why does scratching it feel so darn good, so satisfying? Well, there's a little bit of brain chemistry at play here. It's kind of like a dopamine deception.
It turns out every single time you scratch that itch, your brain gives you a tiny little hit of dopamine. That's that feel-good reward chemical. And that's why it feels like such a relief, like a sneeze, or as the source put it, that quarter orgasm. Your brain is literally rewarding you for doing something that, in the long run, actually makes the whole situation worse. It's a vicious but oh so satisfying cycle. So, after all the science, after the horror stories, we get to the most important point of all of this. Ready? It is not you, it is biology. Let's be super clear on this. Having to frantically scratch yourself in the middle of Covent Garden, or anywhere for that matter, does not make you gross. It has absolutely nothing to do with who you are as a person.
And it is definitely 100% not a sign of poor hygiene. This is a physical thing, a physiological response happening deep down in your skin and your nervous system. You have basically zero conscious control over it.
I love this line from the source because it just sums everything up perfectly. This is biology with terrible timing. That's it. It's a system glitch, you know? Not some kind of personal failing.
And honestly, this is the whole key. Once you really get it, once you understand that chain reaction of hormones and dry skin and twitchy nerves, itchy loses her power to make you feel ashamed. Oh, she's still going to be wildly annoying, for sure. But the shame, that disappears. And it gets replaced with understanding. See, understanding the why completely transforms the experience. It takes you from a place of shame and puts you in a place of, well, empowered annoyance. So that leaves us with one last question to think about. Now that you understand itchy, what other unspoken things we go through could be totally demystified just by taking a moment to understand the biology behind them?